Welcome to this video. My intention is just to go into a little flow, let some messages come through that might be helpful for the collective or anybody watching or tuning into this. So thank you so much for watching and tuning into this. My intention is always the highest levels of love, light, and unity consciousness. So I'm just going to go into a little flow from here. This is sometimes just meant to be felt, not necessarily understood, depending on what comes through, but today is a mix, I think, of some light language, but mostly some inflow messages. So as we tune into our bodies, as we allow ourselves to commit to tuning into our bodies, as we allow ourselves to commit and make the commitment to ourselves, it creates a relationship with ourselves. It creates a relationship with our own ability to enhance our communication with our cellular network, for where attention goes, energy flows. So therefore, many of us have been programmed to not pay attention to our bodies and to pay attention instead to what a program wants to tell us or inform us about our bodies, what it is that we should be taking as a band-aid or a cover up of what the symptoms are that our body is signaling to us when there has been something out of balance or alignment. And so we are being called to go back in again and re-scramble that which has been scrambled, or mix it up a bit so that we can begin to redefine what it is that the human structure and body is capable of, for the capacity for our abilities to expand, or the capacibility, the capacive expansibility, the capacity for expansibility is so much more than we have given ourselves credit for. And yet many of our drug companies and sponsorship programs that seek to invite us in for a quick sell, a quick, that's a play on words, C-E-L-L, a quick adjustment, we might say, to create a temporary feeling of well-being, only lasts for a certain amount of time before that particular version of our cells breaks down and reforms and requires more adjustments to be made. The longer we go without tuning into our body, the longer we go the longer down the road we go of someone else's road. For our road may not be what it is that they tell us, they being the societal conformities or societal campaigns that are being pushed in our direction or in our view. What it is that is best for us is not necessarily best for the societal referendums. Okay, I'm being guided to play with this. For the way in which our society has been constructed was based on monetary, so monetizing our health and well-being. And so there are millions, if not billions of dollars that are being, I'm seeing like lottery numbers just being thrown around, and they're being made by those who are encased within the old paradigms. And while in some cases, these can be very helpful and the tools have helped many, but if we were to look below the surface of those numbers and those recreated studies that support the hypotheses that is actually only applicable to a select few, we would ask the body, what is it that it needs in order to expand its view and lengthen its lifetime or ability to live in this lifetime? For the societal standards and all of the frequencies that are being injected, that are being and entering into our field and awareness are many. Therefore, we must make the appropriate adjustments in order to create a hospitable environment for ourselves so that we may find ourselves more, I'm just seeing our bodies not breaking down as much. The ocean, salt water, vegetables, organic foods, supporting local farmers, local produce, allowing ourselves to produce more. We are asking ourselves, what can I do? And this is very different from person to person, for each person holds a different view. One person may need more alkalinity. Another person may need a bit more exercise. Another person may need to take their shoes off once in a while and ground their energy, for they have been sitting in front of a computer all day. We must begin to recognize that the holistic approach has been, I'm hearing ostracized because it has not been monetized, but it's been monotonized. Like, oh, that's old news. This is better. This is more high tech. This is more advanced. Yet the chemicals that are being placed in our foods and also in the prescriptions that we are putting into our body are creating more chemicals. And our body then makes adjustments based on what we are telling it to do. And so sometimes it creates a block. So what I'm seeing is if you take a prescription, it creates a side effect. Or if you take a prescription, by the way, I'm not saying don't take a prescription. I've taken prescriptions when I've needed them as well, and they can be very helpful. I'm just being shown there's a group of people in the collective who are relying on these ideas or ideologies that we must always be shifting our chemicals, but our body has the composition already built within it to shift those chemicals. Sometimes it just needs a little help versus a quick, easy fix. So I'm being shown also the devices that are coming out, scalar devices. I'm being shown reworking with crystals again and sound therapy and sound healing. I'm being shown all of these other things that many of us are aware of, but we're not actually utilizing. And this comes back to us increasing our force. And this has to do with our life force, not our force. It's our life force, our chi, our prana. And so we need to support our support system. Otherwise, we just end up giving our power and financial expectations to the pharmaceutical companies who may not have our best interest in mind. Not to say that there are some chemists and doctors who are working together with our best interest in mind. However, the overall picture needs an overhaul. And so while there are many new medications coming out to assist mankind, there are equal amounts of very destructive medications that are being touted as medicinal, when in actuality they are, I'm hearing, money-making magnets. So I'm seeing like a heart, like they're pulling on our heartstrings, like, wow, that sounds incredible. I'm going to give that a try. We are losing touch with the organic in some cases, and our native roots, our heritage, those native roots of our ancestors were provided for this time specifically. I'm being shown that they actually can do a lot more to counter the effects of radiation and the solar activity and the EMF frequencies, and actually I'm hearing detoxification in general of some of the lower frequencies and foods that we've been maybe participating in, putting into our bodies. I'm being shown fast food. I'm being shown fried foods. I'm being shown all kinds of things that maybe just haven't been the best for us. So as we start to ask the questions, well, what can I do? More answers will come. Do the research and tune into the body and ask the body, what do you need, body? It will respond. But first, we must clean out the old in order to create a higher conductivity, a higher ability to notice these inner reflections, notice these inner signals. For the disconnect is in part because of a sheath of static and sludge that many of the humans are encased within. So I'm being shown, if you have like it's a parasite in your body, and I've given the suggestion to many people I've worked with to do a parasite cleanse. Sometimes I'll work with someone and I can tell they have a parasite. Other people, I can tell they have heavy metal toxicity. Sometimes I'll work with someone and I'll get the message that they're allergic to something, or they've been eating too much of something and not enough of something else. Now, I tune into that because I've done my work to have the ability to, or remember the ability that I can see that and feel that for a client. But it's something that we all have the ability to do, is what I'm trying to share. But we have to kind of clean it all up first. And I'm actually hearing someone watching this going, well, I've already done that, but I still am not getting the downloads or the information coming in. And my answer to that, and what I would venture to say, is you probably are. It's just not something you're in the habit of recognizing. And that I am going to be doing a course on that. Hopefully soon I can get that up and running to help. But the basic ways that I'm being shown is start to eat more things that are grown organically. I mean, go to a local farm. In fact, I might go to, a farmer's market this weekend. Grow your own produce. It's hard to do that, I understand, because of a lot of reasons. I had a garden for years and the rats loved it. So it didn't quite work out. I had some amazing broccoli and cucumbers and eggplant, and then it got to the point where I also had a whole fan club of rodents. So I understand it's difficult, but we do the best we can. But I'm just being shown that it's so important not to buy into these ideas of the mainstream medical field, not to downplay the mainstream, because the mainstream will catch up potentially once what I'm hearing is supply and demand. So if we are asking for something energetically, I want more of this, I want more of that, we are here to create that. So we can't just get it from somebody else, but the more that we start to come together to support each other in this, hey, I found this new vitamin. Hey, this company is working with this advanced technology that has to do with sound waves. Boy, this is a particular anti-parasitic, for example, medication with low side effects that's more based on a holistic, because all of the pharmaceuticals are based on usually an original blueprint, right? And they usually have an original chemical that was found in a plant, and they've just harnessed that energy of the plant and made it into a pharmaceutical. And so they're not all bad. However, what are the side effects? How much does it cost? What are they getting their ingredients from? If they're just more chemicals, what is that doing to our bodies? How is our body making the adjustments? All of that. So just keeping all of that in mind. So I'm going to end on that note. So now is the time to step up and reintroduce and acclimate with our bodies, start to get to know when our stomach is not happy with what we've ingested, instead of continually giving us more of that, it makes it more difficult to break it down in order to digest the nutrients to create more energy. Because in the upcoming years, but especially in the upcoming months with these higher frequencies that are inbound, we will find it can be more difficult to stabilize our own frequency when we are not supporting our body with what it needs. And we cannot give our body what it needs if we do not know. And so this is where we are called to utilize our synchronicity, our environments, our visions, what it is that we are feeling as we eat, our relationship with food, our relationship with our vitamins, our nutrients, and our relationship with our fellow humans and companies that are supporting this. For if we are continually feeding, supporting a particular company that has done some, I'm just hearing they don't have our best interest in mind, why would we continue to support that? And so it has to start with that. Also, I'm being called to talk briefly about some of the things I've been noticing in the medical community. We're going to talk about this another time, but education. Who are the companies that support our educators? Who are the companies that support our colleges? And why this will give us an idea as to why certain things are being pushed in the old paradigm. That's just something I've been called to share. It's been a subject that's been coming up in conversation with several other of my colleagues. And it's interesting if we really look at the companies that are supporting our education. Well, it would only make sense then that the educators would support those companies, whether it be intentional or not. It may not be because of negative reasons. It might just be thinking they're doing the right thing. But in actuality, it's perpetuating, I'm hearing, false information or information that doesn't quite have all of the truth. So I'm going to end on that note. In love and light, guys, take care of our bodies, connect with the earth. We can learn how to use all kinds of tools in order to see what is out of balance. And that, again, I'll present at a different time, but in love and light, namaste.